What is going on, YouTube people? New York Cards and Comics here today, back with the weekly sports card market update. We missed a week due to Fanatics Fest last weekend, but we are back at it and better than ever. And kicking things right off, because we got a lot of stuff to get into today. It is another busy show weekend. We are fresh. We were only a month off the National Fanatics Fest last weekend, and now we are right into the Burbank show. Going on as you are all watching this. Looks to be pretty busy. I see they had some special guests out there. Rob Veras, who I had the pleasure of meeting at Fanatics Fest, having a brief chat with. Posing with the Lord of the Hobby, Michael Rubin. I saw Mayhem was out there as well in some images, roaming around the scene, checking it out. I still would not be surprised if once Burbank's current deal, I believe they have a contract in place for a handful of shows already. I have a sneaking suspicion once that runs out, I would not be shocked if Burbank ends up becoming a Fanatics events show, much like the one that is coming up in Orlando here in November. So that is, Fanatics events, once the tier things, they have their peak shows, their tentpole shows like what we just had in New York and what we'll have in LA. And then they have their pure card shows, which is what we are going to see in Orlando in November. I would not be surprised if Burbank falls into that as well, given, they had that deal recently to move Burbank's inventory onto Fanatics Collect, aka PWCC. Just kind of makes sense that would eventually kind of head that route as well. I've never been to the Burbank show. I would like to get out there at some point in time. It's just a little bit tricky for the travel. There's a billion things I could go to east of the Mississippi that do not involve 3 to 4 hour long flights that I could get to fairly easily over here. So I'd like to make it happen at one point in time just to say that I've been to one, but it'll probably be a hot minute. If you were at that show or, stopped in or whatever, throw your comments down below. It looked pretty busy just based off of social media stuff, but that's not surprising. Burbank is kind of almost like a little mini West Coast National. That show seems to have gone really, really well. Speaking of shows, I will not be in attendance because every major fantasy football draft under the sun that I am in is this weekend or this upcoming weekend. We have Ship Shawana Card Show. Labor Day weekend upcoming. Sunday show, Saturday night trade night. I hope to be back in the house for the March show. But this upcoming weekend, you can head out to the barn, get some deals done at trade night and at the show itself. Fantastic show put on by my good friend Brad, who I also had a chance to chat with at Fanatics Fest a few different times as he was in attendance helping Ryan Card Collector 2 out at his table for a little bit. And then, I don't have a slide for it, but there is a hobby rip night coming up, a Topps rip night coming up in a couple of weeks, mid-September. I think it's September 14th-ish. Someone could correct me if I'm wrong. I saw actually the Card Collector 2's having a big blowout fest for that. I might actually try to make it down for that. I haven't been down in his shop for a few months now, so I might try to swing in down there for that event. But if you're in the Indiana area, go check out the Ship's Card Show. Fantastic show put on by fantastic people, and also sponsored by friend of the channel, Ludex. Big help at the National from Ludex and their team, putting on a great VIP experience for all those people that attended. But crazy week upcoming as well. We have a very busy week with new releases in regards to product. Topps Chrome Basketball comes out this week. We are going to see what that product is all about. Speaking of bounties, the triple logo, or triple auto rather, that's going to hit this week, most likely. It should. I got shipping notification on that. I got shipping notification on my Topps Chrome boxes. They haven't left the warehouse yet, but I got tracking. Those will be out this week. Topps Composite Football is supposed to be out basically any day as well. On the Marvel side of things, we have Marvel Avengers Metal coming out this week. All sorts of crazy stuff. It is going to be a very, busy week in regards to new product releases and bounties, because there's a $1 million bounty on the Victor 1/1 Topps Chrome Auto as well. So we thought all the triple auto stuff was crazy. We got the Victor bounty coming right after that. And the NFL season is about to start. Speaking of which, today's video is sponsored by our good friends over at ComC.com, and they are having an NFL event coming up. 30% off select and elite submissions until September 8th, and then there is going to be a football auction event that kicks off in just a couple of days, August 26th to August 1st. My preferred destination for sending cards in that I just do not feel like dealing with. I'll send them into there, have them sell it. I don't got to worry about shipping them. My cutoff is usually about $15-ish, $20-ish. Anything under that amount, it's going to ComC. Anything over that amount, I can handle on my own because I don't have a ton of that stuff. But that little $5 and $10 stuff, I just do not feel like messing around with. $1 stuff, I'll send it to them, build up the bankroll, and then what I like to do is use it and then just buy a PC card with it and then have that shipped home. That is generally how I handle it. Card show heavy theme to start off this week's episode of the Weekly Sports Card Market Update, but I just wanted to throw this out there. I have booked my hotel for the Chicago National. It is in place. I purposely paid an extra $40 to get something refundable just in case something else pops up better. But I wanted to get something locked in. What I have up on the screen here is the hotels.com screen. Now, a lot of these hotels are listed as sold out. I think that's just more that room availability is not up yet because we are still, basically a year out. I have locked in a stay at the Crown Plaza. This is up basically a week-long stay for, if you have a hotels.com account, was like a little under $1,000 or right about $1,000. That's a Wednesday through Sunday, checking out on Sunday. And like I said, I paid a little bit extra for the cancellation fee on it in case, something else pops up better, but I at least wanted to get something locked in. I get this question a lot about hotels to stay at for the Chicago National. Any one of these that are in the general area are all really fine. There is a Hyatt there. There is a Hilton there, an Embassy Suites, a Doubletree, the Crown Plaza. Down here is the Lowe's. It's not that far of a walk. This gray block right here is the convention center. And then back here is the Loft. I've heard decent things about that. Over here, I don't know anyone that stays over here. It's the Rose Chicago. It's a little bit of a higher end hotel. You could walk, I guess, if you wanted to. That would be a little bit of a hike, but it's not too terribly bad. But really, any one of these surrounding hotels are perfectly fine. These are all across the street. A Loft is about a block and a half walk. Lowe's is about a block and a half walk. The Crown Plaza, which I've stayed at the previous two Chicago Nationals, is perfectly fine. It's getting a little long in the tooth. It probably needs a little bit of a remodel, but the location is super convenient, being directly across the street. So if you're thinking about attending, you could pay a couple extra bucks and get something refundable. Might not be a bad idea to at least lock a hotel room in now, and then you don't have to worry about it. The Triple Olympics card has been beaten to death. At this point, those are shipping out, though. Mine arrives on Monday. So if you never see me again come Tuesday, it's because I sold out. I guess I should record a video opening it. Even if you're not a content creator, it would be worth it for you to set up a phone and record you opening the packaging just in case you are the lucky one to hit it. I'm not saying you need to share it. You don't need to post it on social, but at least have the camera set up and recording for your own personal memory of opening it. Since you're most likely probably going to sell the card, at least capture the memory of you opening the package if you do indeed hit it, whether you want to post it on social or not. 588,000 was the total print run. Actually, I saw some people saying, well, you got a 1 in 588,000 chance. It's actually less than that, because don't forget, a lot of people buy the bundles. You could buy a single card, you could buy 10 cards, you could buy 5 cards, you could buy, I think 50 cards. You could buy the bundles. And I don't know that many people actually order just a one single card. I feel like most people at least go for a 5-pack. So your odds are actually probably quite a bit better than 1 in 588,000 to pull the triple. Now, we'll see what happens. I would love for this thing not to turn up for a week or no one to publicly claim it. I think that would be hilarious, and I would like to watch the internet tear itself apart. Speaking of Fanatics Fest, I've been following closely the exclusive pricing from some of the exclusive sets that drop there. If you were lucky enough to hit a Cactus Jack box on the lottery, boy, oh boy, did you make out like a bandit. You probably could have paid for a majority of your trip. This was a lottery system only. You had to enter. Depending on the type of badge, you either got 1 entry or 10 entries. They were $300 to purchase, and they are reselling for $2,500 to $2,800 for one of these boxes. It is, I think it's 1 or 2 packs. I think there's like 10 cards in the total box, maybe 12. Even the base cards are selling for astronomical sums of money. There was only 1,000 boxes produced. So when you have something that limited, this is what happens. But these Travis Scott boxes have gone absolutely insane. I think a Skenes base card out of this is going for about $400 or $500. It's kind of like it's his first true pack pulled rookie card, I believe. So the prices on this have been absolutely wild. On the Topps Chrome stuff, they have settled in. Blasters are doing about $100. Actually closer to $120. Hobby boxes are doing $550 to $600-ish. I have ripped all my stuff. I still have one more video that I'm sitting on that shows the 2 blaster boxes. The blasters are a little rough. Those are the scariest ones out there. The hobby boxes, they're a good rip. Not at $600, but if you were actually able to buy one at $300, from a rip perspective, it's one of the better sports card rips I've had this year. And part of that is you just have more bullets in the gun of things to potentially hit. Because you have your auto, you have your couple numbered parallels, you have all the stuff that you could normally hit out of a Topps Chrome box MVP buyback. But now layered on top of it, you got 6 shots at pulling a star player or a rookie in a big Apple refractor. And then you also have the swinging with the stars insert. So just those few extra shots at potentially pulling something, is it still a loss leader? Yes, but it is a good experience to rip one of these boxes. Now, would I have been better off to just flip them on the secondary market? Probably. I haven't totaled everything up. I'm still figuring out what I want to grade and what I want to sell and what I want to keep from my boxes. The big hit on the Big Apple refractors is Aaron Judge. His is going for about $700 for his Big Apple refractor. The Juan Soto is actually going for quite a bit cheaper at $250. I wonder how much of that, obviously Judge is having an absolutely insane season, but I wonder how much of that is people are worried that, he might not actually be a Yankee come next year. If Soto actually signs, I think the Apple refractor could be an interesting play. I don't like it for just your average everyday player, but for Yankees specifically, like a Judge, like a Soto, those guys, I actually think it's a pretty nice card. If I was a huge Yankee fan or a big Judge collector, this would be a really cool card to have in the collection with the city skyline in the background. The estimated print run on these are 50 or less is the only details that they gave it on us. And the swinging with the stars, I believe, someone did the math. I thought someone may have commented on this either in the live when I was ripping or in the comment section that the print run estimated on those is like in the low 100s. Someone could correct me if I'm wrong on that. And there are numbered versions of those cards as well. The Judge swinging for the stars is going for about $250. Those inserts seem to be going for a little bit less than the Big Apple refractors. As I mentioned, Topps Chrome basketball is up for product drop. That releases this week. This timer has 3 days, 21 hours left on it. I am recording this Saturday afternoon. So by the time you're watching this, you still have a chance to get in on this. If I remember, I will drop an affiliate link down below. If you want to enter the lottery for this, you are capped at $3. boxes. I think I'm going to make a play and try to get 3 more. Not necessarily to open. I am not from afar. Once again, I'll get the product in hand and rip some this week. Other than the Victor and the LeBron, I'm not a big fan of most cards that are probably going to come out of this. That's my guess going into it. So I am not going to be air quote investing into this product from a hold perspective. But the secondary market on Topps Chrome hobby boxes are going for about $450. 480, 450, 470. There's a 529. Plenty of sales in the 450 plus range. So if I could get 3 at 300 and potentially flip them, I may end up looking to do something like that if I win the drop. The last few sports drops have not actually sold out. You could still get Bowman on Fanatics website. You could still get some Topps Chrome. Not all of it is still available on there. It'll be very interesting to see if these make it through the drop or not. But demand on the secondary market as of right now is there. Now, will that last if someone hits the $1 million bounty right away? How much of that is being driven by that? I don't know. Will the prices tank once everyone sees the cards if they really truly don't like them? Or is the draw of a LeBron and Victor auto hunt, even if it's not the $1 million one, just a base Victor auto, enough to prop up the product itself? So, full disclosure, I am probably going to be chasing the drop. I'll put in for 3 of them. I doubt that I open all of them. I already have 2 coming from Topps at the slightly cheaper price point. I think these were $269, $270-ish when they went up for pre-order. Another one that went up and sold out, or air quote sold out. Topps composite blaster boxes went up and sold out fairly quickly. I had linked to those. I did order a couple of them. I ordered 2 or 4. I don't remember. I think I ordered 4 of those just to kind of rip, just to see what those are all about. And then I don't know if Topps composite hobby boxes will pop up on here or not. But those are very popular as well with the 3 autos. But Topps Chrome basketball, whether you like it or not, the secondary market likes it. And, sometimes that's just good enough. A crazy one popped up this week. SGC graded a 1961 Wilt Chamberlain rookie in an SGC 10. And this is just not something that you see pop up every day. I have to imagine this is going to sell for an astronomical sum of money. I did poke into Market Movers. The last PSA 9 sale was for $200,000 last year. That was a PSA 9, and there are 32 PSA 9s. Now, what I was actually surprised about was there are 3 PSA 10s of this card. I was shocked by that. One SGC 10, which you saw just graded. If you were wondering what I am using, a fantastic tool by our good friend Gemerate. This is the universal search feature, which is basically a universal pop report. So if you are ever looking at something that is lower population or more rare, and you want actually a real picture of how many are out there, make sure you look at this. It is a good double check. Don't just rely on one company's pop report. Especially found this handy for 90s stuff or early 2000s stuff where a PSA pop report might not look that big, but a Beckett pop report might tell a completely different story. So I found it really handy for that sort of stuff. But this gives us the full picture of what's out there. But you can see 3 PSA 10s, which, like I said, surprised me quite a bit. And then the one SGC 10. I have to imagine that if that goes to market, that will be a monster sell. With that, let's transition over to charts and graphs powered by Market Movers. Link in the description down below if you want to check out charts and graphs on your own. There is a link down there. You can get a couple weeks for free and get 20% off for life. First up, aforementioned Aaron Judge. This is his 2013 Bowman Draft auto. Looking at this in a BGS 9.5, this is a perfect example. This card in a PSA 10, there aren't that many of them. In a BGS 9.5, they transact quite frequently due to the era of the card. This is looking back the last year of data. It is up 67%, and you can see most of that has happened just in the last few months. If I just shrink this down to 180 days, that takes us back to early spring. It was at 1.5K. It is currently at 2.3K. That is a 42% increase, as Judge is just having an absolutely insane season. And this is carried over to his base rookies as well. This is his 2017 Topps Chrome in a PSA 10, just a base, and a 2017 PSA 10 Refractor. Both are up a ton, even just the base card. Just a base Topps Chrome card is up to $192. That's an 80% increase since the spring. This is going back, once again, 180 days, which takes us back to late February. Pop just a little under 7,000 on that base Topps Chrome. So it's not, you could find one fairly easily, but still clipping in at almost a $200 rate. And then the Refractor is going for about 320, only about 1,000 of those on the population report. Refractor actually seems surprised there's not a bigger gap between the Refractor and the base, given those population reports. But I don't think a lot of people like the image on this card in particular. Sticking with baseball, Dylan Cruz got kind of a surprising call up. The darling of 2024 Bowman. His first Bowmans have basically stayed stable. We are looking at the last 90 days. If I go back further, where you're still getting the I just released pump phase of the market, this PSA is actually when the PSA 10s first started hitting the market in June, going for about $480 back then. And they've basically kind of settled in at around $350 to $400-ish. You can see the last couple sales kind of spiking back up closer to $500 with the call up. But his raw, that's the yellow line, has basically been $200 since it settled in and has essentially stayed flat. So we'll see what he ends up doing, getting the call up. Like I said, that one caught me by surprise a little bit. I did not expect to see him this year, but here we sit. Nationals, they got all their young kids up. Well, we're still waiting on Brady House, but James Wood is up. Dylan Cruz is up. We will have to see if this ends up becoming the outfield of the future or not. But something to keep your eye on. His stuff never really got the spike. Dylan Cruz is one of those weird ones with him getting called up late in the season like this. If he hadn't, this might have got a pretty big run up in the spring. It almost kind of backfires on you a little bit if you were hoping he was going to get called up to start the season next year, where you get that hype phase throughout the whole off season and into the spring without him actually playing to bring his cards down. And now you kind of missed the window on that. So it'll be interesting to kind of follow along what his cards do to kind of close out the season here with about 5 weeks left to go in the regular season. Skenes check-in. His stuff continues to backslide. And he has done nothing wrong. He continues to pitch great. It's just the hype wears off. You're just not hearing about him as much, even though he continues to pitch really, really good. But you can see his stuff has just gone right back down again. His PSA 9s of his first Bowman are at 455. That is what they were back in early July before they went through this huge hype phase. His base Bowman got up to 2.3K. That is now down to $900. So crazy switch here on Skenes stuff. And we see this all the time. It can only go up for so long, even when the player is playing well. Just the hype kind of wears off on him. And now, from a supply standpoint, now his first Bowman will be his first Bowman. It will always be there. But we're probably a few weeks to a month, maybe a couple months away from getting Topps Update. And guess what's going to be the poster child of Topps Update? Paul Skenes. And people are going to be going crazy for his stuff in Update. That might take even more eyeballs off his Bowman auto. Just because of, if you want to put money into Skenes, there is now more competition on his cards from the supply side of things. So Just one of those things to keep in mind. Even when the player is playing good, the hype phase eventually wears off, and that matters more than anything. The hype around the player matters more than the actual on-field performance, sadly, more often than not. Let's take a real quick look at basketball here, as we are very quickly approaching the NBA season. Just about 2 months away, late October, that will be spinning back up again. And what I wanted to look here at was the last 90 days. And you were definitely seeing some movement over the summer. Devin Booker up 40% on his PSA 10 silver. Zion up on his silver. Jalen Brunson, SGA, Cade Cunningham, big movement on Cade Cunningham. Josh Giddey up with the trade to the Bulls. Paolo getting some offseason buzz, up about 20%. Chet Holmgren up about 35%. Victor staying about flat. Anthony Edwards staying about flat. Brandon Ingram getting a bump. Lauri Markkanen getting a bump. He just re-signed that big contract. Tyrese Halliburton's up. Jalen Williams is up. Brandon Miller is up. He has been getting some buzz in the offseason. So a lot of the younger-ish, the more upcoming guys, the up-and-coming guys, seem to be getting a little bit of buzz / price movement as we move through the summer months, as people are probably air quote investing in them to get ready for this upcoming NBA season. And people seem to be prospecting on the lower priced guys. You know, Devin Booker's is the highest priced card on this list outside of Victor's and Anthony Edwards at the $1,000 mark. But most of these cards, you know, $80 for Mikal Bridges. He got a bump up with the trade to the Knicks. $300 for Jalen Brunson. $280 for Cade Cunningham. So a lot of that $100 to $300 stuff seems to be getting some action in the NBA market. So we'll see what happens as we go between now and the end of the offseason and move into the season itself. With that, that is all I have for you boys and girls today. We got a bunch of news. We got a bunch of card shows. We got a bunch of charts and graphs. We've pretty much covered it all. This upcoming week, nothing particular planned, but you can expect to see probably a lot of product openings, especially towards the back half of the week. Like I said, I got a couple blaster boxes of Big Apple refractors. That's already recorded. That'll be up probably sometime this week. I have the lids player box thing with the hats that I purchased. That video is recorded. That'll probably be up sometime this week. And then we got new product releases. Topps Chrome Basketball. Marvel Metal Avengers. Maybe Composite Football. Maybe a Topps Now Triple Auto. And I can retire. Who knows? All sorts of craziness coming up this week. That is all I have for you boys and girls on this video. Catch you on the next one. Peace.